A shocking story now about a crew member who was allowed to leave his cruise ship in Florida after he had been diagnosed with the coronavirus. To make matters worse, cruise line officials failed to mandate that each and every passenger and crew member be tested for coronavirus and quarantined for 14 days. That incident has drawn the attention of criminal defense attorney Brian Claypool. He joins us now from Los Angeles via Skype. And Brian, you're now recommending that the federal government impose uniform regulations on how cases like this should be handled. What are you thinking?
Yeah, Trace, good to be back with you. We absolutely need maybe an executive order from President Trump to make it uniform. For example, we had a recent cruise ship in the Long Beach area, which is south of Los Angeles, and everybody was quarantined on that cruise ship. Everybody was tested, and they were kept on there for at least 14 days. Mm-hmm. Now, how is it that you then go to Florida, in South Florida, and have a cruise ship with a known infected crew member and allow him to leave the ship and not even test everybody else? I mean, we have to have some uniform guidelines with that. I mean, make no mistake about it, Trace. I mean, this is almost like a 100-yard dash we're in. Like in lane 1, we've got our entire U.S. country. And in lane 2, it's the coronavirus. But unfortunately, the coronavirus had a 10-yard head start on us, and we're trying to catch up. So we need to muster everything we've got as a country to combat this.
Do you think this should be top down? Is that what you're saying, Brian? I mean, in all things, you think it should be the federal government kind of passing these mandates and not just this patchwork that's being done in the states?
Yeah, absolutely, Trace. I mean, I think we're seeing too much patchwork. What I mean by that is, I'll give you an example with schools, for example, like in Ohio, it started that all the schools were closed, and then it trickled into other states. I mean, that's another great example. I think we have about 35 states now that have their schools closed, but it's ridiculous, Trace. You've got kids, I've got a little girl. How is it that we have at least 15 other states right now where schools are open? We know that the coronavirus can matriculate in your body for about 5 days without you showing any symptoms. And these schools, for example, are going to wait until somebody in the school's infected before they close them down. I mean, I think we need uniformity, not only with cruise ships, with schools. We're doing a good job now with business establishments, especially here in Los Angeles and other cities. But we've got to compact all this and make it uniform.
Is that kind of why, Brian, that, when these colleges started letting kids out, UCLA and Stanford and so forth, the rest of the colleges said, OK, we're going to go online as well, because if these kids get sick, we're liable?
That's a great question. And my answer to that would be absolutely, because guess what? The cat's out of the bag. These schools, universities, business establishments, employers, cruise ships, you name it, they all know now that coronavirus is real, it's here, and it is potentially deadly. So arguably, Trace, it's reasonably foreseeable. Now, that's kind of the legal jargon we use. It's reasonably foreseeable that all of these establishments now know that anybody who's exposed to it is in risk of being infected. So if you don't send people home, for example, students, have people work remotely. I closed down my law firm. I've got my employees working remotely. If you don't do that and you allow people to congregate and somebody gets infected, then these establishments are going to be civilly liable for not only medical bills, but also lost earnings and emotional distress.
Yes or no, Brian? I got to go here, but are we going to see a lot of lawsuits in the wake of this virus?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of lawsuits, Trace, because unless you quarantine everybody.
No time for a because, Brian. I got to go, but thank you so much. It's always good to see you. I'm Trace Gallagher, continuing coverage of breaking news.